Good afternoon, Fort Collins. I have Anthony with me. I'm Krista from Land Title, and we're going to dive into our October stats for Fort Collins. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, thanks for having me. Just let's kind of dive right into what's going on. October's been seemingly better than last year in a lot of ways, but right now you can see average sales price very similar to where we were a year ago. If you kind of watch that orange line, it's trending pretty positively, right? I mean, the front range as a whole may not be doing this, but Fort Collins is kind of that shining light. And also with a negative number like 3.5 year over year for the median, nothing to be concerned about, right? Because we had an abnormally high year last year. So still very positive, good numbers at 615. And then if you get over the condo townhouse number, this one, obviously, like we had talked about just, before our video here, 12.6%, maybe we need to curb our enthusiasm a little bit. We kind of had a weird month. We actually had a very strange September too. The median was skyrocketed as well. So we came down off that higher month, attached dwellings, sometimes with less sales, we really see some very interesting month over month changes when you sell more luxury stuff or you sell more lower end stuff on any given month. So bouncing around, yes, but like very decent looking numbers for the last couple of months in the attached market. So 458 for the average sales price and 406 for the median those are very healthy numbers right now. So I think we're doing well there. The big gap here, and really our second check, what I always like to look at is that price per square foot. So at 281 for single family homes for the last 5 or 6 months, we've been trending above where we were a year ago. That's a great sign, 0.7% up, a couple dollars a foot, but it's very much a stable real estate market in that single family home. And why I said curb your enthusiasm is we can see it here in the condo market. It was basically just like it was a month ago, right? $300 a foot. But it's 9.5% above last year because it was the worst month of the year last year was in October. So we're not quite comparing apples to apples in some ways, I think. But good news is Fort Collins is very healthy. Now, the one you guys probably care about the most is what are sellers and buyers doing? And what's it going to feel like in the marketplace, right? That active units of inventory on the market, 613 active units, is about 12% more than this time last year, that 550 mark. But we've seen a lot expire off the market, right? We have, 8% less inventory than we did a month ago. We've seen a steady decline in inventory for the last 3 months. And it's not largely due to new listings coming on the market less, right? We have a very similar amount of new listings that you would expect in an October here at 267. It's 7% less than last year, but last year was kind of an abnormal high month. And we're very much in that seasonal norm for seller behavior. So at 267 new listings, we only had 193 go under contract, which was also abnormally high, right? Interest rates dipped a little bit. Buyers have come back into the market. It's kept that more of a plateau in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter in October. But there's just more sellers there than there are buyers, right? And so with that being said, inventory is coming down because frustrated sellers are pulling stuff off the market. And that's put our month supply of inventory down to 3 months of inventory. It's only 0.1 above last year. But this is a fairly balanced sort of environment in many ways right now. If you had to sell in the fourth quarter, it may not be the worst scenario, right? You might still be experiencing buyers being out and active right now for a little while. We're not quite to the holidays yet, so that's always a good sign from that standpoint. Now, I guess market activity really says, what's it feel like to be a buyer or seller in the marketplace? So 40 days in MLS means it feels exactly like last year. That's active to under contract time. Now, 40 days is not that bad, right? I mean, think about it. We're talking 5-6 weeks on the market. You should be under contract if you get enough showings, if you're not overpriced, right? And the close to list price tells us what does it feel like to be, in that negotiation this year, right? And the percentage sales for list price is 98.3%. It's 0.2% less than this time last year. But that being said, it's very similar. So it's not a whole lot different, but it is slightly more buyer favored than it was this time last year. Now, that's kind of what I got for you to share today, but don't forget, reach out to Krista and I if you have other questions, concerns, need other market information. We're always happy to provide that for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me today.
We'll see you next month.